So next up, Radiocarbon lab.
What a contrast. A state-of-the-art research station in a palm house?
Yeah, part laboratory, part greenhouse. I see bird cages here. To release your stress?
Does the lady belong to the equipment or to the jungle?
It's like a rainforest in here.
Good morning, madam. My name is Jonathan Hunt. I think Barrow has...
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Hunt. Dr. Zoldmally. Emma to my parrots only.
I'd like to ask a few questions about Balaj.
Yes, I've heard. I must admit I don't understand the situation, but I'm glad to help if I can.
And she liked green. The green color. Look at all the trees, all the leaves. Her blouse, her skirt, even her shoes, all green. The green lady.
Madam, when did you last see Balaj?
Let me think. Last week, maybe on Wednesday, he helped me relocate the pandanus. It's hazardous.
Ah, is it a corrosive compound?
No, it's the screw palm. The leaves can cut your hand.
What do you think of Balaj?
He's very young, tends to overdo things, but he absorbs information like a sea sponge.
Did you see a lot of him?
I think he didn't like me at first. Or my parrots. But he was excited about age determination, so we became friends soon.
So he was eager about the past?
Especially about radiocarbon dating, which we do here. Nature tells us about the past, or even about artifacts of unknown origin.
Well, I'm personally interested in this too.
As you should be. I know you wrote a book on antique trade. I'm going to read it.
Oh, that's kind. What do you think of Vero?
Vera? She's a typical woman of our age. I wouldn't recommend her to you as a wife.
Well, it hasn't come to my mind.
Very well. In brief, as a person, she apparently performs better than as a professional. But she hasn't been here for long, so there's not much I can help you with.
On the contrary, you've helped a lot.
No, she hasn't. She didn't tell us the reason for not recommending her as a wife. I'm very curious indeed.
Given my original profession, I have some understanding about radiocarbon dating, but I'd be grateful if you could explain how it works exactly.
I'll try to keep it simple. In nature, carbon mostly exists as carbon-12, but there's also carbon-14, a carbon isotope which is constantly created in the upper stratosphere as a result of cosmic rays. It builds in living organisms, like plants and animals. But carbon-14 atoms are radioactive, and as such, they decay over time. Their half-life is about 6,000 years. This means the quantity of these atoms falls by half in every 6,000 years. When a living being dies, it stops acquiring carbon-14, but the decay continues, and the proportion of carbon-14 decreases. If we measure this proportion accurately in case of an archaeological find, we can tell its age.
And are there no limits? Can you determine the age of any object?
Not quite. We can go back up to about 40,000 years. Our results are most accurate when the object is a few thousand years old. And don't forget, we are talking about things that once used to be living organisms.
I see. So, no dinosaurs. They lived millions of years ago.
Correct. Your knowledge is still a bit superficial, Mr. Hunt. But you're improving.
That is a bit disappointing. No dinosaurs, huh?
This lab is so pleasant. Are all these plants and animals part of your research?
My plants and animals keep me alive in this well-equipped, state-of-the-art lab. My motto is back to nature.
Are you a naturist?
By no means. No need to go back to the tree to make your environment more livable. I no longer dive, but still love hiking and sailing with friends.
Poor souls. I wonder how much they understand of what's going on around them.
Well, at least they keep her company in this lonely place. Alright, that is all. So next up, Material Science Lab.
Without these gloomy-looking machines, I'd feel like I was in a preschool.
Wow, all the labs are different. Look at this.
A smiling face. He doesn't look devilish at all.
Wow, love you, Dad. So, he's a dad. Oh, you know what? Maybe he's only a son. Look at all the toys he has inside his lab. So, he's probably writing this message for his dad. It's the other way around.
Good morning. My name is Jonathan Hunt.
Hey, Jonathan. Nice to meet you. Gula Varesh. Saw you on television.
Did you?
So glad you came here. I mean, not really glad, as it's so sad Balaj has run away. How reckless!
Can I ask you some questions?
Well, of course, my friend. Go ahead.
He's like a child. He's like a big kid.
When did you last see Balaj?
Wow, I feel being part of a crime movie. Well, I think it was Thursday or Friday. End of last week. No, it wasn't the weekend, as I'm with my family then. I've got 3 sons, my friend, and a daughter.
That's nice. So on Thursday or Friday, where and when?
I ran into him in the afternoon. I think he was coming from the cafeteria. And yes, that charming sister of his was with him. They weren't in a good mood, though.
Okay, so he has children himself. My bad, I was wrong. But he certainly looks like a fun dad, you know?
What is he like, this Balaj?
Haven't you met? Well, handsome guy, intelligent face, kind of dark hair, and...
We did. I want to know what you think about him.
He's a nice guy. Open-minded, friendly, polite, doesn't really understand jokes, though. You know, we joke a great deal with my kids, and...
Yes. Have you noticed any change in his behavior lately?
Whose behavior? Balaj. Maybe he came here less frequently. Carrying a book all the time. He was learning, maybe. Don't you think so?
What do you think about Vero?
Oh, you've got to be kidding. I have a wife and children.
That's not what I mean. What's your opinion about her as a person?
A frightfully agile, vigorous girl. Or from a professional point of view, you mean? Well, everyone has to be highly skilled to get a job in this institute.
I see. How does she get along with others?
I believe everyone likes her. She's a bit too quick and straightforward, but I don't mind. I can only say positive things, like the way she takes care of her younger brother. She'll make a good mother, at least if she learns a bit more about self-sacrifice.
I find it a bit odd that we keep asking all these people about Vera. It is a bit strange.
Could you tell me something about this lab?
Oh, sure thing! I've already explained it to my boys, and they understand everything. They were so cute listening to my story.
And the lab?
Oh, of course. Now, this is the Materials Science Laboratory. With all this gleaming equipment, we can identify the chemical composition of an object in a non-destructive way, or we can define what layers these chemical elements form in a sample, even if the layers are measured on a nanometer scale. However, for this, we have to destruct the sample a bit.
You mean you could tell how many and what kind of paint layers are there on a Da Vinci painting?
I'm afraid not, as my instrument works with small-size samples only.
Which means you'd need to damage the painting? Otherwise, you could investigate the composition, but not the layers. Is that right?
Exactly!
You have a cozy workplace.
Oh, yes, thank you. Our director, Mr. Lahotsky, has been very liberal about this. For me, my family means everything. I gain energy from these things to focus on my work.
Do you have a hobby or a passion?
Passion? My family is my passion. With 4 children, you have little chance to have hobbies. You'll see it for yourself. Hurry up, my friend. Having children is the best thing in the world.
I will. Certainly.
Yeah, certainly he's enjoying this. Enjoying to be a dad.
Looks like some infernal machine.
Yeah, the color scheme here is not really my thing. It's way too red in here. And that is all. Yeah, this red color is definitely a distraction for me. So... not working inside that lab. No, thank you. Alright, so... supercomputer. Have we gone to the supercomputer yet, guys? I don't remember. Maybe not. It's in the basement.
Where
Whoa!
am I? Is this a data center or a recording studio?
It does look like a recording studio. So, what are you working on?
Is he a scientist too? I wonder.
Maybe this is his hobby.
Is this a Gibson? I'm not an expert.
Hello, I'm Jonathan Hunt.
Hello. So you're the guy who's after Brainiac Boy, aren't you? I'm Changor Fekete.
Doctor, I assume.
Nope. I'm only a petty system administrator. Or, if you like, the doctor of the doctor's computer up there. What can I do for you?
You could tell me when you last saw Balaj, what he was doing, these kinds of things.
Snooping, that's what he was doing, I tell you. He knew everyone, talked to everyone, stuck his nose in everything. If you ask me, he'd been up to something.
Up to something?
In the last 2 weeks, he'd been in a hustle. We never had any trouble with each other, though, just some of us found this a bit strange.
Nobody has complained about him so far.
Sure. Any talking about him could easily get to the ears of the director. That's because of Vera. You know, there's been some rumor recently. Otherwise, she's a hot babe, but I don't have a thing about those who make a pass at the boss, if you know what I mean. I don't mind telling you if you want the truth.
I have first-hand information that the supposed liaison between the director and the girl is unfounded.
Well, don't bet on that.
So Vera and the big boss? I don't know. Or maybe he still has some insider information here.
What an amazing place.
This is my cave with the supercomputer. Not super-sized, but super fast. It's because many desktop computers are connected in a smart way. They generate a lot of heat. We need strong cooling. I enjoy this low temperature. Of course, the fans are loud, but I use my headsets.
And you just oversee things here?
Yeah. It's not too stressful unless we hit a snag. But that seldom happens, so it's rather a kind of vacation.
Rather a kind of making music, isn't it?
Spot on. This is why I like Lehetsky. I only asked once, and he'd let me bring in my music stuff. I've written some 50 songs here.
50 songs? That's enough for 2 albums.
You must be joking. Who buys CDs today? Changor, the system administrator, earns the money. The musician can only spend it.
Whoa, oh, Vera! Hello.
Hi, it's me, Vera.
Hi. I know. I've just finished with the labs. Nothing too helpful.
There's still a chance. I spoke to Peter, you know, the director. He's waiting.
For what?
For you. He wants to meet you.
Well, why not? Should I question him too?
Maybe you can get something useful out of him.
Shall we go right now?
You go alone. I've already told him a lot about you.
Aren't you going to introduce me? Anyway, let's do it this way. I guess I'll find his office.
It's in the main building, first floor on the right.
Thanks.
One more thing. Now I remember what Balaj said that afternoon. He said this. I'm going to meet that teacher woman I talked to yesterday. And then he said he was going to the Reformed College. What do you think?
Could be a lead.
Except we don't know who she is.
But we do. Listen, you said he talked with a middle-aged woman. That could be her.
You may be right. But still, I haven't got the slightest idea who she was.
That may be so. But someone was there at the party who might know. I'm just going to visit him. Bye for now.
Bye.
Yeah, bye, Vera. Alright.
Is this thing a nuclear instrument too?
No, of course not. The equipment is behind all these glass shelves. I see Dell. The brand Dell. Right, so I suppose the director's office is now opened. It was previously locked. Let's go check it out again. Yeah, it's open.
Here's the deck of the Otomki ship. I wonder what the captain's like.
I don't know. We're about to find out. Is that the captain? Is that
The
him?
all-seeing eye of Professor Shandor Soloy.
Aha, here we are.
A holographic trinket with particles. Lovely.
Good morning. Jonathan Hunt.
Ah, Mr. Hunt. Peter Liotsky. How do you do?
How do you do? It was beyond my hopes to be able to see a nuclear research institute on the inside. I'm delighted to be here.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. In this case, just call me Peter. I'm the older, if you don't mind.
I'm honored. Nice to meet you, Peter.
Take a seat, please.
Take a seat. Let's make ourselves comfortable here. Now we chat about important stuff.
Immaculate three-piece business suit, but no necktie. Interesting.
Is it true your mother tongue is Hungarian?
Basically, yes. My mother was Hungarian, and she spoke to me in her language. My father was American, but he died early, so I learned to speak English from my grandfather. He was the son of a famous globetrotter and explorer, Samuel Hunt.
What an exciting ancestry. A mixture of cultures. Vera told me you wished to settle down in the country, and this is why you wanted to see her.
Yes, I'm considering buying land in Eger.
I know. And I've been informed about the result of the water analysis. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but your sample is far from mineral water quality.
Thank you. No need to be sorry. I had no intention of going into the mineral water business. It's even better, as the owner should lower the price now.
I see. Glad to hear this.
You might have heard that Volage disappeared.
Oh, yes. Vera, the poor little one, has just come to me crying. I was going to mobilize my contacts immediately. I have a fairly wide network of connections, you know. But she told me she'd already asked you to be on the case.
Oh, well, no problem. I'd be pleased to free Vera of her commitment. Probably connections could work better in this case than a do-it-yourself detective, such as an investigative journalist from the New York Times.
You work for the New York Times? Why, there's no reason to back out of the arrangement. Vera told me you're very efficient. Please go ahead. I hereby approve the assignment. You are free to go anywhere on Otomki's premises and ask questions to anyone. Just keep it short, please. You understand.
Not quite, but there should be no complaints. Thank you for the opportunity. And once you've allowed me, would you please answer a few questions yourself?
But of course, at your service.
We have already done all the interrogations. We don't need your permission for that. You know, you're a little bit late. Alright, about Balazs.
You know Balazs, I assume. What do you think of him?
Well, I think the boy doesn't respect his sister the way he should. Yet she's done everything for him while their parents are absent. I believe he's hiding because of feeling guilty of ungratefulness. What do you think?
I think there's no question about your scientific and management achievements. but your approach lacks some empathy.
You think so?
Yes, but this is not a problem in your position. And of course, I didn't mean to be offensive.
No, I understand what you say. And coming back to this investigation of ours, I did see Borlage Sunday afternoon.
Oh my. And where was this?
It was about 5:20 when we passed by each other downtown. He was just coming from the college.
Did you speak?
I said hello, but he didn't seem to take notice. Looked quite preoccupied and just walked on.
In that case, I should extend the investigation to places outside Otomki as well. Peter, a colleague of yours saw Borlage on Friday in Otomki talking to an old man in the courtyard. It was near the pond where the turtles live. The man was wearing a hat and he had a walking stick. Do you have an idea who he might be?
I think so.
Oh.
The description fits old Karol Voniec, our retired caretaker. He was the jack of all trades at the time of Shandor Soloi. He comes here now and then, eats in the cafeteria, sits in the garden, chats with people.
So he might have told Borlage a few old stories?
He might have, yes. The old chap is absolutely harmless, but I can give you his address. Talk to him.
Yes, please. I'll call on him.
Well, at least we got a lead. The old man we saw near the pond.
Here you are. It's not far from Otomki.
I'll find it. Thank you.
The lady teacher. Huh? Who is the lady teacher?
Vero mentioned something that could be important.
How interesting. I wonder why she hasn't told me.
At that party on Saturday, Borlage was seen chatting with a middle-aged lady, likely
Oh,
to
yeah.
be a teacher.
Oh, yeah.
She stayed late, too. Do you remember who she was?
I only saw that Vera had to warn him about his behavior several times. But I hardly remember who he talked to.
Let's try this way. Was there a woman at the party who happens to be a teacher?
Well, this might be easier. Mind you, it isn't a common thing nowadays to invite white-collar people of lower position. Ah, but I've got it. It must have been Mrs. Pulfy, the widow of the late Professor Geza Pulfy. Her husband was a highly respected scholar, of the old-fashioned type. Headed a university department, very reputable person, although never strived for positions.
Yes, there are people like this.
His widow is a teacher indeed. Out of respect for Geza, his former friends and colleagues keep in touch with her. They say she's not too well off, but too shy to ask for help.
Does she teach in the Reformed College?
No. As far as I know, she teaches history in a grammar school.
Then what was she doing at the college on Sunday, where she met Borlage?
Then what did the lady do in the college on Sunday where Borlage met her, if it was her at all?
I don't know. Can I have her address? Hey! You look at me! Just now. Uh-huh. You broke the third wall, guys. Yeah, about the address. Do you have her address? I need to talk to her. The old lady. And may I have her address? Do you know where she lives? I need to talk to her. I need more leads.
I've seen a few of your labs, and I have to admit, I'm amazed. All of them are furnished with a personal touch. I've heard this was your innovation. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. It's a long story, you know. A foreign delegation visited us one day, and their wives came with them. After the official program, we had an informal dinner where some of our researchers were also present.
I guess you chose them carefully.
Naturally. They told good stories. Everyone had an excellent time. The wives were especially delighted because they thought about these guys as some machine parts in lab coats. And suddenly, I realized we'd been hiding something that ought to be shown. So the next day I told my staff that I'd allow everyone to do their work in a home-like environment, as long as the job is done. Strictly subject to individual approval, of course.
This was received well, I guess.
No, they thought me crazy. It took some time for them to understand, but now the results speak for themselves.
I say hats off. A brave and enlightened solution.
Yeah, certainly different. That's why all the lab rooms, they look different and they look distinct. A homey flavor. Hey, he was looking at me just now, guys. He broke the fourth wall. Directly. Having eye contact with me. Alright, is that all?
Beautiful weather. We are having a nice summer this year. The Institute's deed of foundation.
Yeah, I don't know about all the different labs or different looking labs, but just that it doesn't look very professional from the outside point of view. Look a bit childish, if you ask me. But as long as they perform well in those environments, then I guess I am all for it then. I don't know.